Hey there guys, welcome to Chewing with Greg. I'm your host, think about it, Greg. In this series we'll be talking about stuff like, obviously, my favorite, chewing tobacco, my other favorite, fishing, martial arts, random stuff in general that I pick up off God knows where. Anyway, that's the stuff we'll be talking about. If you don't like the stuff we'll talk about, click the red X. Take it easy, guys. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about chewing tobacco. For those of you who hate tobacco and think people that use tobacco should die, choice words which I will not use on camera, but you know what to do, click the X. Those of you who want to learn about it, want to start it, just all around like the idea. It's pretty easy. You don't smell like a cigarette all day, which I like. You don't taste like an ashtray when you're kissing a chick. You know, me personally, I'm a Skull, Grizzly, Copenhagen is my last choice. Stokers, surprisingly it's cheap. You can get it in a big ass bucket and it'll last. It's like the equivalent of 10 tins of Grizzly or Skull or whatever you're chewing. But this is just a new tin I bought last night. I have this thing with taking off the backs of Grizzly because for some reason I just can't stand Grizzly's tin. Not that their chew's bad, but it's decent. It's something to get me by when I have shit for money. Stokers, it's even cheaper than Grizzly. You know, it's got a little sweeter taste, but you still taste the mint. You still taste the wintergreen. Whatever your poison is, they probably have it. For those of you who like the apple crisp and all that stuff, they don't have it, but they do have wintergreen, mint, and straight cut. It's all long cut. None of it's fine cut. And the long cut is a lot longer than the Grizzly that I'm opening right now. Opening a tin, basic, just using my thumbnail, putting it in between the hole, and I'm just twisting the tin around. Which, tobacco is not packed very well right now. Not packed at all. Metal tin. Like I said, this little gap there, just putting my nail in there, you know. You can use a knife, keys, whatever. I like my nail because it's easy and it's already attached to me, so why the hell wouldn't you use it? Just saying. As for spitting, I use water bottles right now. I want to get a mud jug. You know, I watched the guy, Mud Jug 1, I think his name is. He has a great thing about chewing, and you know, every session he chews. But he also talks about other stuff. He talks about the gun laws right now. You know, I was listening to his podcast, and he's saying how that the gun laws, they're not trying to take away your guns, so don't worry. You know, where I'm living right now, everybody's taking guns. You know, they're going off the shelves like it's bread. You know, like the first shipment of bread in the last 5 years just came in. Everybody's taking it, alright? Not gonna happen. Government's not trying to take your guns. They're just trying to do their thing. Alright, I'm gonna put in the chew. I'm gonna pack it. Packing it wise, you know, I started off just doing that. Just holding it and tapping it. It does the same thing. Just loosen up tobacco because I like to do it differently. You can also do it that way. Some people say it's harder. You don't get the cool noise that you usually see a lot of people get. But I like doing it the straight way. Like I learned how to do it. You know, it's just with the wrist. You just let this thing go. If you want to practice it, 2 fingers like that. this finger. I'm not snapping my finger. I'm just letting my finger loose. Just tapping it. Making the aforementioned noise that everybody loves to hear. You don't have to do it a long time. I prefer it a longer time. I feel it gets a better pack. Like, so, it's easier to get in there with a new tin. It's so cheaper this way. I cannot stress how much cheaper it is. Instead of spending $5, $7, or $10 on a cigarette wherever you live, I know if you get the Camel, if you get Camel filterless, the Camel filterless, that's about $8, $9. I mean, that's enough for me to buy a log of shithorn. For those of you who don't know what shithorn is, it's longhorn chewing tobacco. The shittiest stuff out there on the market. It's just not that great. I feel like I have to put whiskey in shithorn to make it better. It's not something, those of you underage chewers out there, I know you do it. Probably keep a tin under your mattress or something like that. I started out when I was 18. I worked at a boarding school in Massachusetts, and I was told I can't smell like a cigarette. So I started smoking. My boss said, you can't smell like a cigarette. So I was like, all right. So one day when we're off-roading with a buddy of mine, and we're sitting there, and we're all doing our thing, and he's sitting there, he's chewing tobacco, he's chewing Grizzly Mint. I'm sitting there chewing nothing. Haven't chewed yet, ever, before, and asked me if I wanted a pouch. I was like, alright, let me try a pouch. Better than smoking, right? Well, worse than smoking. If you're going to die, you're going to die anyway. Might as well choose how you die. Not trying to be morbid, by the way, just trying to be straight.
CDW installed system.
Yeah, it's interesting. If I sound like I'm rambling, I probably am, but I'm going to get off onto fishing right now. It's a great thing. I feel like it doesn't... Chewing, I feel is much better than smoking while you're fishing. I smoke cigars when I fish sometimes. 9 times out of 10, you'll see me chewing tobacco when I'm fishing. I fish on the St. Clair River in Michigan, right at the mouth, where Lake Huron opens up. We got a pretty strong current over there, and for those of you who are saltwater fishermen, you might be able to use some of the things I would show you, which I don't have any of my stuff on me right now, so I'm not going to show you. I'm going to try to explain as best as possible. It's a tuna rod, pretty much is what I'm using. I use a tuna rod on the river. I use a 2-pound sinker, and I use a 3-way swivel. I'm using 50, 60-pound line on my fishing rod. Now, for those of you who have a tuna rod laying around, I don't know what you use for saltwater. I'd love to understand saltwater fishing. I want to go saltwater fishing. I just think the idea of big game is amazing. But I'm using 50-pound main line, going down to my 3-way swivel. On the bottom of the swivel to my sinker, I'm using anywhere from a 15 break off to a 20-pound break off of lead. My actual lead for the lures, depending on what I'm fishing for, walleye, your salmon, I've caught bass over there, you name it, it's probably been caught over there. I've seen sturgeon caught there, but usually you're running 15-pound line. I know most of you say it's not strong line, but to catch a sturgeon on. Definitely. But if you know what you're doing, you can catch a sturgeon on 15-pound line. The guy at the local bait shop, he caught a sturgeon on, I think it was 10-pound line. You know, that's not braided line, none of that. It's just monofilament, trilene, whatever you want to use. I've seen them caught. You know, it's a hell of a fish. Ugly looking thing. You know, body of a shark, pretty much. Old looking, monster looking, and they've actually got it on River Monsters with Jeremy Wade. You know, granted his fish was 10 times the fish I've ever seen caught, but I hope one day I'll catch it. You know? Maybe that day will be the day I've got it on camera. But it's not really all that hard. As for you, sit there, you're like, oh yeah, well, fishing's boring. Well, I'd like to see you try to bring in a sturgeon. That's 100 pounds of fish, man. That's 100 pounds of power. I mean, just raw. It feels like a log when you hook into it. You know, it's just so interesting to hook onto a sturgeon. Probably rambling more on sturgeon than I am anything else, but happens. This is the first time I've done this. Never done anything like this. I also like using dark water bottles for chewing, just because it's dark. He doesn't get to see the chew. Another reason why I'm trying to get a mud jug right now, they just sound like an overall great thing. I was reading the testaments on the website. I think it's mudjug.org.
Mudjug.com.
Yeah. Okay, well, mudjug.com.org. You can search it on Google, type in mudjug, you'll find it. Testimonials, I read one. The guy was in Afghanistan, in active duty, and he was in a convoy in his truck, I guess, from what I understand. And I guess the truck ahead of him blew up, and I guess the truck tipped on its side somehow, and don't ask me what happened. I wasn't there. God bless America, guys who do it. Well, if I had any means, if I would be able to go in the military, I'd be the first one going in the Marines getting shot at. Straight up, hands down. I just think it's a good thing to straighten out any guy. But apparently he had his mud jug on him, you know, spitting, you know, a whole 9 yards, and thing blew up, got on its side, and, you know, when he sat there and looked at the mud jug was on the side, like, I guess it was like on the side of the rolled car, and lo and behold, nothing spilled out of it. The mud jug's still upright. It's not tipped over or anything. I guess they have some sort of weight differential thing on the bottom to make it, like, you know, kick it, and you can lift it up easily or something like that. But, you know, I just think it's cool, you know. Guys in Afghanistan are using these mud jugs for something to use. You know, it's not like a cigarette where you're smoking a cigarette, sniper goes, "Ooh, look, a glowing light, I'm going to shoot it." You know? You're chewing tobacco, you can't, there's no glowing light coming out of my mouth saying, "Shoot me." There's just spit, you know? Chewing was one of the most respected things, and I don't know the date, but I know that at one point Congress had spittoons everywhere in Congress. You know, chewing tobacco was not just a poor man's thing, it was a rich man's thing. I've seen chewing tobacco that runs $8 to, you know, $1. It's not that hard to get your hands on chewing tobacco if you're of age. People who don't chew tobacco that are people who chew tobacco that are not of age. Obviously, I'd like you to do it when you're of age, but, you know, I've given chew to kids But at the same time, I think of it as, would you rather your kid be doing weed, or would you rather your kid going down to the corner store, picking up a tin of chewing tobacco, and not getting high as shit? Granted, when you get that nicotine rush, it's a motherfucker. I mean, damn, it's pretty good when you first start it. You know, you get your head dizzy, and you feel all cool, and and then that day comes that you swallow the chew and you end up throwing up. And I remember the first time I threw up. It took me 5 dips in order to throw up, but I ended up puking on this guy's porch. Left him a little present there. Same night I was gambling, I took the house. Bankrupt the dealer. But, it's just something I like to do. I feel like I'm going to do it till the day I die, probably. Don't quote me on that. There's a book out there for smokers only, How Chewing Tobacco Can Save Your Life. I shit you not, it is written by a doctor. I believe the guy is an oral pathologist. You can know more with the Mud Jug one. I believe he's the guy who started Mud Jug. He sounds like a cool guy. He also talks about the gun laws and all that stuff.
Everything you need to do.
I know something about the gun laws, but I haven't researched it as much as probably everybody watching about gun laws has. I know they're not trying to take away your guns; they're trying to take away the assault rifles. Newtown, Connecticut.
Visit lg.com/tragedy.
Tragedy. Everybody knows it. It was sad, and it was disgusting. No one that age should have to know what that violence is like. It's not right.
In the car, as alive as you are.
But it happens. That's life. Life's not fair sometimes. You're gonna hate me for saying it, but that's life. Sometimes good people die. End of story. There's.
Right now, try something.
Hell, I've gotten a gun pointed at me, but I still want a gun. I don't believe it's the gun's fault. If I was to leave a gun in my bedroom and not go in my bedroom for a week, no one's going in my bedroom, and that gun's still sitting there, that gun won't go off. Keep that safety on, and the gun's just going to sit there. The gun's not going to move and say, hey, I feel like firing today. It just doesn't happen. You're stupid. For those of you who think guns are cool. I like guns too. But I'm not the type of guy that I'm going to protect my house and go to a gun store and say, hi, I want something for home defense. No, I don't want something for home defense. I want something to hunt and fish with. If I'm going to carry a sidearm, I'm going to want to carry a sidearm for, call me stupid, I don't know much about hunting yet. I'm still learning how to hunt. I'd carry a sidearm for like a coyote. For coyote hunting, it's a predator. If you're cut and you're bleeding, there's a chance that animal could attack you. Granted, it's probably really, really slim. Just that extra safety of carrying that sidearm would be good, For here in Michigan, you can hunt at night. I went hunting about a month ago. Went out coyote hunting. Stayed out all night. Came in and got in the house at 6 o'clock in the morning. Didn't see anything, but we heard these coyotes, and the other guy who was sitting in the tree stand saw the coyote, but too far away to shoot at, right? So, can't really say much about hunting yet again, but it's just a cool sport. I feel like it gives me a responsibility if I shoot that animal, I feel like I have to eat it. It's just something, it's just respect. It's a whole respect. It just teaches you respect, responsibility, everything else. For the parents who, your kid wants to hunt, you don't like them hunt, you don't want them to own a gun, give it a shot. You know, if your kid's straight and narrow and he knows what he's doing, he's going to be safe about it,
The 6-11 matchup in the East region.
give him a shot.
20 minutes.
They run this triple screen. To
Um,
go to the corner, nothing there.
Get it in for Smith. He's found
But yeah, I mean,
1 second comes off the clock. And
it's just a good sport. You know, you got your deer hunting, pigeon, birds, quail,
Smith
it's all
has
there.
12 points, 16
all up in the great outdoors. You know, Michigan is,
Importantly, right now,
you know, granted it's not Alaska where you can go out and you have to hike 10 miles to get to good fishing grounds and another 30 to get in the backwoods where no one's at and hunting, but
senior at the strike.
just to go hunting for deer, caribou, or elk. But you know, we still got bear. We've got, you know, deer, bear. We got some of those big game animals. Believe it or not.
66.
I know a lot of people
27 seconds.
diss Detroit. Detroit. It's. I'm not gonna lie. There are some parts of Detroit you won't catch me dead in. I will not go to 8 Mile. I will not go to where Hardcore Pawn is to, you know, I think it'd be cool just to go once and be like, yeah, I went to Hardcore Pawn, be all cool and all, but catch me dead going there, no way. I will not go there. It's just a, I think it's just a bad place to be, personally. You know, and my friend, he lives in Tennessee. My one friend, he lives in Tennessee, and when he moved down to Tennessee, his friends he met, he's like, you know, you're from Detroit, and you're from Michigan, and you're listening to country. Why is that? You know, like, I thought all people in Detroit listen to country. Or to rap, I'm sorry. But, guess what? I love country. I can't stand rap. You can tell by what I'm wearing. I do not. I like blue jeans, a shirt, and boots. You know, today I'm wearing sneakers, but I don't. Kind of gross today, you know. But yeah, sucker fish. Up where I'm at, sucker fishing is just a fun little thing. You take your kids there, you know, throw in a line, put a worm on it, and you've got yourself sucker fish. Not that hard to catch a sucker fish. For those of you who think sucker fish is hard, you know, it's like trying to catch a marlin in fresh water. It's not one of those type of things. You can't catch a marlin in fresh water. You know, bull sharks, yeah, you can catch them, but in fresh water, you know, it's the other thing I wanted to bring up, Asian carp. They found Asian carp in Lake Erie this year. So, for those of you who know Asian carp and how they can destroy things, Michigan's now gone to shit because of it. I believe this year, by next year, I believe they're going to be in Lake Huron. You know, just what I think. I think they're going to be in Lake Huron next year. I believe, you know, I'd love it if the DNR would pay everybody to try to kill off the Asian carp, but something tells me the Asian carp are going to overrun everybody. They're going to eat the salmon, they're going to eat the sturgeon. You know, the sturgeon's a bottom feeder. It's like a suckerfish. It's got that suckerfish mouth. And, yeah, it's a shame, because I think they're going to eat the sturgeon's food. It's going to destroy them. You know, sturgeon, here in Michigan, you can catch one sturgeon a year with a tag. And I think in Black Lake, you can spear sturgeon. But I just don't think it's fair. Because I want to catch the thing, I want to release it. you know, it's the size of this couch right here, you know. You can't, I just in good conscience couldn't kill something that big that has lived for so long. You know, a deer, go for it. Kill that motherfucker. You know, it's an activity, it's fun. But sturgeon for tomorrow, it's a tax deductible. You can use it on your taxes. It's like a tax deductible thing or whatever. I'm planning on joining it this year if I get the money to join it. You know, that's pretty much it. You know. I hope you guys like this one. I'm gonna have to get this all straightened out and squared away, you know, and try to think about stuff to speak on topic. Kind of bounced from place to place. It's kind of boring and long drawn, but. Alright guys, that is it for this episode of Chewing with Greg. I would love to hear questions, comments, stuff we should do. We're hoping we can do something like out of this world crazy, but nothing lethally crazy. But anyway, take it easy guys.